good afternoon.
You didn't print out the way I wanted them.
Otherwise, you're on that website playing 15 different games at once.
No, they look fine on my printer when I printed them. I don't know if
So
she...
much that. I said, well, you know, I'll go get this, or I better read that article, or I'll go mow the grass, or anything but what I really should be doing. Or the phone rings, you know, and you gotta talk to Nate, and get him straight.
45 minutes.
That's 45 minutes, and whatever. How's the job going, Nate?
That's good. Just go.
Just good.
Project managing. Sure they do their job and bring down their budget. Well, it was interesting today. There was a neighbor dispute. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Pharmaceutical. Well, I never seen it before. There's a I was doing work for a pharmaceutical company. We had to swap out the fire panel, and so they're doing all this big construction, and so they fenced off. You know how construction, they fence off stuff. Well, the pharmaceutical company owns partial of the next door neighbor's property. In that property is parking spaces for the next door neighbor for their company. Well, they were so upset, the other company was, that today they went and started cutting down the fence with big bolt cutters and everything. So I'm looking at the whole company dumped, both companies, people are on the roof and taking pictures and videoing this whole thing, and the police had to show up.
Was this at 33?
No, this was down in Lineville, Exton area. Morphtech or something like that. Morpho or something like that. And so that was the interesting part of the day. But everything else was, with electricians and make sure everything's up to code. Make sure that the guys that I have on it get done. So we got it done in a day. So we budgeted 2 days, so we were able to get it done in a day.
Good for you. A bonus in there for me, huh?
Yeah. At the end of the quarter, we do quarterly bonuses. Yeah, I did. Thanks. Just printing out 5. Printing out 4. Alright. I want to call this meeting to order at 4:15. First of all, I want to start off with any personal appeals, if there's any personal appeals. John, anything?
Not right now, thanks.
You're good? Okay. What I'd like to start off with, you have a handout that from our last meeting, Mike and I did an inventory of the trees from 5th Street all the way down to Keystone Avenue on Main and Chestnut. And so what I did was I have taken the information from Mike's, from what Mike was sketching down, and try to put it in a form that we can possibly read it. It didn't come out the way I really wanted it. It looked different and came out differently on my printer, so I apologize. But if you look, it just was a little smaller, a little bit cleaner. But if you look at there's a page that says overall, it's an overview, just one big one. That gives you a satellite image, or just like a perspective from like the sky of how many trees there are and what types of trees. So on the right, bottom right is the legend. We have a total of 72 or 71 trees, 51 Bradford pear trees, 17 zirconias, and 13 locusts. And the reason that we took an inventory was because of the tree revitalization grant that is due October 1st for their application for Lehigh County. And what this will do will give us a perspective and maybe a long-term goal or a long-term project up to replace trees. As you can see with the red dots are Bradford pear trees. And as you can see, there are still a whole bunch more to be replaced. And Mike and I found two of them, and I know one of them was marked, and Craig, you might have seen that too, when, walking home or something. There's a pink X on the tree to be cut out, because if you look, it's somehow either diseased or something happened to it. There's a big hole in it, in the bottom where the trunk is, where the tree well is. So, that needs to be replaced. And then Mike and I also, at the corner of Cherry and Main, we found another tree that was kind of stunted, had a stunted growth. That looked like it was diseased as well, so that would be also a priority. But so what else you see here in the blue is Zacovias, or the Zacovia trees. They look like they're doing pretty well, and the honey locust as well. In the green, they also are doing pretty well. But Mike and I, as we're walking, you can see the Bradford pear trees starting to form their little fruit or berries or whatever you want to call them. So, and the main reason that we want to replace them is because the residents / business owners, have voiced their concern about if berries are dropping on the cars, making a mess of them, staining the cars, staining the sidewalks, tracking them into the homes and businesses between 5th and Chestnut, or 5th and Keystone. And so that is one of the main reasons that we would like to replace them. Also because, they are cross-pollinated. They should not be bearing those little fruit the way they are. So as Mike and I was discussing, we don't have an exact number. The grant is available up to $15,000, and we need matching money, 50% match on that. 25% of that match can be in-kind service, which means our public works department can take care of planting the tree, removing the old ones, things of that nature, just like we did with the previous Main Street, right in front of Wachovia. We replaced the 4 Zacovias, or we put in the 4 Zacovias with the last grant, and also did Broad Street. So what I, Mike and I were talking is, first of all, the plan to remove the Bradford pear trees. Where to start? Where do we want to start? One of my ideas was to start at Short and Main, going east to 3rd Street, 3rd and Main. That would be our starting point. And whatever we can, for example, our last streetscape grant was $4,000 total. So if we can get $4,000 again, we can plant 7 to 10 trees down, starting from Short Street, all down to 3rd. That's just an idea. That's just to throw out. Now we can go up to $15,000. Now, we do need matching money from budget and finance. That is an issue. Where do we get it? How does it happen? What happens? So anyway, what we need to decide on for today is a couple things. One is where we would like to start the project for a long-term project. As you can see, we're not gonna be able to do 51 Bradford pear trees, if we wanna go that route. So let's take, maybe we can, for next councils or, whoever else would come on, can take this project and go further, so at least we have the ball rolling. Again, my thought is to start at Short and go to Third, begin at Short and make our way eastward towards Keystone, as many trees as we can get, so. And also my idea was, because our budget being so tight, was no less than $2,000 in matching funds. Now that's without Public Works in kind, so a request of $2,000 and then plus $2,000 matching from the county. So that was my thought on it. So anyway, so I want to begin the discussion there. So and we also have to have this done and handed in by October 1st. So any discussion?
Well, I would think that if we have two diseased or damaged trees, they should be replaced first. That's my thing. Secondly, I'm trying to do the math here. How much does $2,000 is? If the trees are, we paid what, $200 a tree?
Yeah, the way it was broke down, it was $400 per tree. That's how the county breaks down the grant. $200 for the tree, and then $200 for the labor.
I just think that's out of line. $400 for this tree. I never did that. Maybe we have to pay that out. Do we go to,
Well,
we just talk to Reds about that, or what? I just think $400 for a tree plus $200 on top of it.
Well, the trees that we purchased were between the $150 to $200. The trees we purchased from. There was two different places we purchased them from. I think one was Irvine, and one was somewhere else. I don't want to say Wind Gap, but no, it was somewhere close by. I forget the other place. We had to go to two different places. But it was between $150 and $200 for
Okay,
that.
so 200, not 400. So it's really 200 plus a 200 on top for
Labor.
so really 400 tree, not 600.
No, I didn't say 600.
Okay,
It's the way the county breaks the grant down, is $400 per tree. $200 of that is the tree. The other $200 is the labor, which totals $400. And if you go over that allocated amount, then the municipality is responsible for the rest. So if we, for example, we hired somebody to do it, say Hirsch's Landscape. They come in, well, we're gonna charge you $500. Well, we're responsible for the other, so instead of $200, it's $300.
So let's see if I understand. $2,000, you get the $2,000 to match. If it was $4,000, that gets us 10 trees.
Yes,
Am I thinking correctly?
that is correct.
That's the math.
Okay. And we have to decide which of the 10 trees here.
Correct. And where would you like to start? So I agree, Mike, that priority would probably be replace the diseased trees.
That's what I was thinking. And then 8 others somewhere.
And then we can start at, again, I don't know where you want to start at, but I would like to start at Short and work my way down to Third.
I don't really have a preference. It's a natural place with 8, I'd say. I don't know, it's always I think a philosophical question. You just take a block into the whole block, or you kind of.
Yeah, as you can see,
A few here and a few there, just to.
right, we can see the south side of, right on Chestnut there, and where the triangle is, we have the 4 Zacovias that we just finished. And, that's what,
When do these have to be planted by? The grant, you get in the grant October 1st.
Yeah.
When do they need to be planted by?
I shot myself the email last night with the grant rule. Sorry guys, I didn't print it out for you. I can, usually it's a year that they give you.
Just from a planning perspective, I would probably say go after those that are producing the greatest amount of fruit first. Now, if they're all even, then you can pick a lot. But if there are some trees that produce more than others, because I'm sure, you know, like the Emmaus bakery, they get a lot of foot traffic coming in and out. Maybe if there's one that's heavy there, that would make that a logical place to go first if that's a greater fruit producer than, say, one out in front of Barnett. Again, it also gets a lot of traffic, but it's not as bad, and it's sort of hitting a priority. But that's from a planning perspective of what tree to get. I mean, the big question would be before, as well as where do we get $1,000 which trees? But, you know, your whole place does come up with a big game plan for how we want to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, with the biggest fruit bearer. That's the next question. So do we just do I don't want to say a shotgun approach, but do we just, okay, replace these?
Well, is that part of the grant where you have to say which ones are going to be replaced?
You have to have a scope of work.
So
And the
we have to
location.
say which ones, okay.
Yeah, so, for example, we take ours idea, in our grant application, it's gonna say, let's see, when Craig writes it, it would be, let's say, we'll take our meadows there's 2 of them, we'll say, 2 at the corner of, north.
What we'll do with it, I would be this exact thing with a colored pen that circles the ones
Okay.
that are, and then just simply by reference say, we're going to be removing it, or replacing by removal and planting the trees that would be attached by descriptions.
All right. Simplify. That's
It's as
simplify.
simple as looking at this and circling the ones you want to take out.
Okay. So we can, all right, so we can do that. I mean, that's pretty simple. Or do we start at one location and start moving one direction? So on that decision, which way
Where
do
have
we go?
where have we had the most complaints?
I know Jim, or Scott Flexer, had some complaints, Armetas, and I know, Bob Bamer in the Emmaus, well, Rick Zays before it was sold to Egypt Star Bakery had complaints. So I would categorize Armetas, Bush, Bakery.
Strap.
Well, I mean, we can look at that as well.
There you have 4 places, I'd say do 2 at each one. Okay, it's a start. That's what I throw in there. At least you can say with those 4 places in town, we've tried to do something to diminish the problems they're having with traffic, the residue.
Okay, so let's take on your.
I mean, what do you think, Art? I mean, is that reasonable for a business person, or, I mean, whatever?
I think, we have to choose some place, so we're choosing the squeaky wheel, per se. But that is also starting here, and going out. So it's sort of, okay, we started at the center of the triangle, and we are moving down. So we can also say from that direction, as to, okay, which ones from that direction are we doing? Well, we're getting those that have the most foot traffic coming in and out from that center location. I love it. We're sort of pressed for time. But you see, all right, if you're complaining so much in your businesses, do you have anything you want to hand in to make them happy?
Well, definitely, Mike and I talked about that, of getting the Main Street program to be the liaison to do that. I don't know how you feel about that.
I love that idea.
That would keep us, let the Main Street do that's what their job is. is
That's
to
all
do that.
up and down Main Street.
I mean, 25, 50, you know, I don't wanna put a price limit, I wanna let the people give what they wanna give. Like if Scott Flexer is gonna say, hey, these are propane, you know, do you wanna chip in $50? You know?
Well, do you want to ship it for $400?
Yeah,
Or
I would
400,
say.
or whatever,
Even if
whatever they can.
And we'll replace the tree.
Yeah, the two trees.
I definitely think it's a good idea because it shows partnership between the community and the government. I'm definitely for that, absolutely.
I mean, I'd be fine if they just covered that amount that we have to come up with, you know, outside of our labor.
So the $1,000.
So 25%, so the county's giving us 50%.
Yep.
We can come up with 25% in labor, as long as they come up with that 25%. That way there's no money out of pocket, or there's man hours out, but.
Oh, that's
they
already
came up with
budgeted.
$100.
So yeah, it would be 100, because there's 200 per tree, so it's $100 a tree, you get your tree. I think that, even that would be doable, because that way we're not running to spend any money.
Yeah, I mean, we're already getting, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, we're getting $4,000 for only $2,000 in the long run. But the problem is now, okay, we need to go to, all right, well, first, are we okay then, if I'm hearing correctly, that we would like to, I think ours idea is great. Our meadows, the two trees at our meadows, 2 trees at Buss, 2 at the bakery, and 2 at Yobes Travel.
I'm fine with
The cherry gum. Yeah, that's right, they have them. Yeah, they're gone. In front of the clock building, there's the Bradford pear trees. But the church is now, I don't think the Presbyterian church is meeting there anymore. They are meeting down south a little, by Irvine.
Okay, so take travel out of the mix.
Then we can replace the 2 diseased ones.
Okay. Well, we still have,
Then you have 2 more that you can do. I mean, I would just stick with the clock building there. Still replacing those 2.
there's quite a few there, 6 or 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The clock building starts just on the other side of the shore.
Yeah.
Sure.
Trying to think, because I'm thinking there's that alley issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
One is in front of ES Bakery, and then 2, say, that are just to the west of the green. They don't.
Very good question. Because you got the artisans. If you look at,
Artisans would be just right before the, impact.
you have this. Here's the artisans' day spot. Oh, I missed the hummingbird.
This would be green.
Yeah.
Which then would translate into this. These first 2, the first 3 would be the 3 that are kind of from artisans.
That is true.
The
Yeah.
4th one would be the one.
The 4th Bradford.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to go out and look at it, you might be able to knock it over.
All right. Yeah, because it's not exactly the
You
same.
might
But
be right. Exactly.
So the two in front of the Emmaus Bakery,
Yeah, too close is the way.
okay. And I will get a revised, I can do that, correct, or I can,
On your way home, just take a look at it.
yeah, but I can get a revised one.
And I really would like to be able to
Circle it.
sort of, and use that as the plan.
Yep.
And the one in front of, Clock Building, we want those to be the first two going east from Short,
Yes,
and then Armetta's the first two coming west from Third.
yes. Because that's right in front of the cycle center, the, South Mountain bicycle as well. And there's a lot of traffic there, yeah.
Has the woman at Artisans, has she ever post?
You know what, to be honest with you, I never talked to them,
She's right.
actually, so,
But I've heard more, I've heard complaints from more people than we've talked about. I mean, to say that those are the only ones that have complained,
yeah. Okay.
Nate, if I may suggest then, is on your map before Craig does this, is to actually put the clock building in here.
Okay.
At the right place, you know, where the trees are.
I can do that.
So that he has it at scale. And the Mace Bakery put it in there, so.
I can get a revised plan to you, probably by Monday. That'll give me the weekend to do it, you know. I can do that. So, just to review real quick, the ones that we will replace are the two diseased ones, which is Cherry and Maine, and Broom and Maine, where it says need to be replaced. At our meadows at Third, on the north side of Third and Main, also on the north side by Short and Main. Also on the south side, Short and Main on the south side. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2 at the Emmaus Bakery / Artisans.
Did I ask a question? I'm not sure. Craig or not. We've talked for years about doing these tree wells, grades or the coffins or whatever. Would some of this grant money cover those?
No, they will not. They are covered. I emailed Virginia Savage of Lehigh County, because we looked at, again, you're right, Mike, we talked about this for a couple of years because of the Rice Krispie and how much they cost, you know, versus a tree well. Great, you know, they make them out of plastic, heavy duty plastic, and they also make them out of iron. Well, obviously, iron's pretty expensive. But if we do a streetscape grant next year, that can come from there. So if we wanted to, if we didn't have say a pocket park or a specific streetscape grant or a streetscape project, that is one that we can definitely fall on and say we want to do tree wells, redo the tree well, because you know the mulch goes in there. We had that complaint from Ed on I think from Fifth. He's on Fifth, between Fifth and Sixth on Chestnut. He's, you know, and I've seen it too, where we put mulch down. That, you know, our summer help puts mulch down, does a beautiful job, pull the weeds. They do a great job. And then a storm comes, wipes it all out, and then months go by. People are twisting their ankles as they walk and stuff like that. So
I think what concerns me is, I don't travel a lot. I've been so many places where they've done nice things with them, and I've sent you pictures of them.
Yep.
So there's different ways to go about it. We just never made the commitment to do it. If we get into the streetscape, I think we should go back and revisit some of those options. And they don't have to be the grades. There's different ways that it can be done. We just should be doing something with that. I think it just improves the property values. It just looks nicer. It's just aesthetically better. What we have now just is not efficient, like you say, with stuff gets washed out or guys' time to use. We can do that.
yeah, absolutely. And the good thing is though, with the whole streetscape, you know, this being, like I said, we could, if we wanted to, just do nothing but tree grades with it, we could. I mean, so that's a way we can move. What I'm saying, Mike, is that's a way we can move forward.
All right, let's keep that in mind then.
Absolutely, Absolutely. You all right with that, R? Like something like, so the next question, guys, so we have the trees picked, what we would like. The next question is, and I don't know, Craig, if I'm doing this right or not, but we need to make a request to Budget and Finance as a wish list, probably at this moment, for $2,000 to be set aside. Now, if you guys want more, you can ask for more. I'm just asking for a minimum of $2,000 to match the grant, because you have to have that to match the grant. And then when everything shakes out, like when our public works guys, or when the business owners who might chip in, then it all will come out. But for the time being, we need that money set aside. So is there any other numbers?
I'm fine with that, I'm fine with it.
$2,000?
That's a reasonable number.
Well, that's what we worked with last year. That's the only reason I'm going with it again. I know we're tight.
Okay.
I know we're very tight, so I don't know, Arlo, what's your opinion?
I think it's a discretionary fund at this point in time. That if business owners don't want to step in and help fund it, it's, give them $500,000, they got the grant, they're not happy to use the grant, it's just gonna slide the wayside.
So it'd be set aside in the budget, and if we don't use it, we just don't use it.
So if you put it aside, and hopefully get business owners, I can support that at this time.
Okay.
Again, you need to vote to spend the money if they don't come through, that would happen. But to get put aside so we can at least try to get the grant to see if they want to contribute towards it.
Yeah, and we would have to give Main Street program a little time to see who's gonna, to make sure that they would buy in, you know?
I think once we have, once it's approved and we have it in hand, then we go to Main Street, I can, that's the rep, talking
Okay.
about it, and approach them, so here's some options.
So, my next question, Craig, is, do we wanna ask Budget and Finance, or do we have to ask council, full council?
Well, your procedural issue you have right now is grant deadline.
Yeah.
So I think what you have to do is have me prepare to see the grant application, by October first, just on the committee's recommendation.
Correct, yes.
Just as long as I understand that's the committee's position, so it'll be done before full council approves it. Now, it's a matter of just submitting it and then asking Budget and Finance and Borough Council as a whole to include the budget. That's it. When you get Budget and Finance, we say, no, we're not gonna fund it. Doesn't mean we can't bring it up. Budget and try and convince the council that we're gonna do the budget. If it doesn't get budgeted, that's not the budget, it's something that's not.
I'll say a point of order, if you could just speak up so I could hear better.
If just, if budget, if it doesn't go in the budget, and in the meantime, we receive the budget, then we just notify the county, we have a budget for it, and it's for our application.
I mean, what about bringing it up to the meeting that's coming up?
Well, I was gonna say,
Next week.
the 28th is the Budget and Finance special meeting.
Maybe you bring it up
So
there.
we're bringing it up there, because October 1st falls on a Saturday, so you basically gotta get it on Friday, which is 30th. And our next council meeting is October 3rd. So could we still at October 3rd meeting, still ask, or we ask the group?
And we could, I can submit this on behalf of the borough, okay, no matter what, okay? From the county's perspective, it's got my signature on it as the borough manager, that's a valid grant application that's been filed. The question is internally with the borough council, is it satisfied that the committee's looked at it and the committee has directed that to be done? I don't think there would be a problem with that.
All right.
But the question you're asking, budget and finance, clearly you're disapproving it, there are actually two issues. One is, I have to look to see if we advertise the Wednesday meeting as a budget and finance meeting or as a council meeting. I believe I advertised it as a meeting of the council. And we've been talking about the budget and finance workshop style meeting, but I believe that I look back on it, I was concerned because there would be full council but you still haven't gotten to the point of whether or not the council is gonna fund this, the match to the grant. Now, in my opinion, you're not gonna get that answer until the Borough Council votes the budget. Because even if you have a vote on Wednesday night, well, let's include this in the budget for purposes of the grant application, you know what, that can go all by the wayside by the time the actual budget gets adopted.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, I don't think that the funding of it through the budget is as important as deciding what to put in the grant application. Whether we would to raise it on Wednesday night, council approval, because you can't get council approval as long as you're satisfied that the committee is doing this without full council approval, then that's fine.
Huh?
Make sense? I'm just talking in circles, I think that kind of bad.
It kind of, yeah, a little bit.
Well, would it be appropriate to just make a motion here as a recommendation of this, to refer it to the budget
Here's what I
finance?
would say. I would make a recommendation that the grant application be submitted based upon these $2,000, the grant application for $2,000 based upon replacing the 8 trees that we've indicated on the map. And that's it. Then it's up to council whether it wants to include it in the budget. Now, if we have advertised a council meeting on the 28th, which I'm pretty sure we have, because advertised one time ago, I think I did. Then, I think out of due respect to colleagues on council, it would be good to bring that up at the meeting and say, CRD met is recommending that this grant application be filed, I'll have the grant application done, give it to everybody's desks, and then at least you have full council voting on it. I think preferably in the past, what we've done is had full council approve the filing of the grant application. And like I said, preferably, it's not required by law, but it's an internal matter that I think council has always liked to have say on. Can't be done in time, can't be done. But if the opportunity is to do it,
Okay.
if they say no, then good, you told me no, and then you don't have to go ahead with it.
Right. Is that $4,000 or 2,000?
Are you talking about the grant
The grant.
application is for 2?
Would be for 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it has the 2,000 match. So, yes, the funds, technically the funds that are available for the project would be 4, but the grant application is for 2.
Okay. So if it's for 4, then we would have to match for 4, and that would be 8,000. Okay. All right, so is there a motion then to approve Craig to file
Motion to direct Craig to draft
tree violation
tree revitalization plan.
by October 1st to Lehigh County for the amount of $2,000?
Sure.
Okay, all in favor? All right. And then on Wednesday, September 28th,
I'll check on the advertising.
okay,
I'm virtually sure I advertised.
okay. All right,
You did a nice job on this map. This is very, very helpful. It'll be helpful for a long time to come to have.
yeah, I'll clean it up and then,
You did a nice
and
job.
we can, thank you.
Along that line, in terms of what to do downtown with the trees, Shade Tree Commission for years has been advocating a tree plan downtown. And as you can see from these current tree vitalization grants, there has been money coming forward for these types of things. trees up, talking about decades. And in a way, and this is just my opinion, in a way, it's kind of a shame that there's $15,000 grant money available. And we can't, we're not taking advantage of it. The grant just comes out now.
Right.
But, you know, anytime that you look at it, and different people, have different opinions about grants, but really what you're paying out of your pocket is one-fourth of the cost. And so what you're talking about is coming up with $7,500 to get to $30,000. You know what? I look at it from the standpoint of, you know, someone who's going to come to my house and say, look, I'll give you a way to improve your house at $10,700 and give you $30,000 improvements. That's a wise investment, in my opinion. From a fiscal standpoint, especially if what you've done is say, we have a policy where we want to commit ourselves to doing this. So that gets into the whole political thing.
Right.
Into that.
You
But I
can't-
just want to make sure that idea is out there because it really is a fiscal policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something to bring up at that meeting on Wednesday, and Craig is correct. We're actually bring out $1 to get $4 worth of value, and you get a constant, it is worthwhile for our side.
Yeah, I totally agree with your thought process on the 15,000. I was, you know, for me personally, I would go after that grant money because it's only 25%. We're only paying out 25%, when it all shakes out. And then when the ARP brings up, well, maybe the business people want to get involved and they chip in. That could, you know, that's a whole different, you know,
That's what I was gonna say, it's the Shade Tree Commission and I think even the Main Street of the businesses, whoever's affected down there, pull that money, if it is a priority, they only need to put $1 in to get $4 of work done. That should be a priority now. I'm thinking in front of my house, if someone wants to come and pay 3/4 of that work, I'll gladly chip in a quarter of that to make the front of my house look nice. But that's also granted that I have that 25% to chip in, and if I don't have it, I can't do it. You know, that's the issue.
Well, I think if we were talking about this in June, and we could have gone to the Main Street program and talked to them about it and got some commitments, perhaps we could have done a little more. I think now we're done here, we're on the line.
yeah, and the reason I chose 2,000 was because I know how tight it is right now with our budget. So do we alleviate, do we say, okay, Main Street program, the 7,500 they're getting, they're no longer going to get, or the purely discretionary spending of summer concert series, they're not going to get it because we're going to do $15,000 worth of trees. You know what I mean? So you kind of choose. In my personal opinion, I think you have to choose. I enjoy the summer concert series. I think a lot more people enjoy them than maybe a tree. See, I would choose that way over a tree. But you know, if you have those two different options in front of you, what do you want to fund? But anyway, you're absolutely right, though.
And I'm not saying to apply for the whole 15, but I just think that's an example of, you know, there is I mean, council says it tends to remove and replace all those trees. Then the question is, do you want to?
Well, I'd say we want to, that meeting, just throw it out there and see.
Absolutely. And we'll talk next month about the tree plan. You know, getting together with Reds and
It's really a funding matter.
a funding member.
Yeah, so it's the borough committee.
Can't the Shade Tree Commission insult the fundraising for such projects?
About $18.
Yeah, I think last year they got 300 from us, or the year before.
Like 300. But the vast majority of virtually all comes from Linda Desmond, who's a member of the Shade Tree Commission.
right, you don't have, do you have anywhere to go?
I do, I have a little bit more.
Okay. Craig, update, we talked about painting, having staff, start painting the borough building. And October's coming upon us, we're thinking that timeframe. So is that something that is still feasible, or is Jeff?
Jeff is.
I mean, if we took council chambers,
That's what I'm gonna ask. What do you want to prioritize?
I mean, if we
Council
take,
chambers
Oh,
or-
wait a minute, back up to the flag again.
well, that's,
That has to come first.
I
That
emailed,
domino has to fall before we talk about
well,
anything.
I emailed Flag Day Association, I have not heard anything back yet.
Okay, that, to me, that one has to fall, we decided that upstairs, we go over here, where,
Well, Flag Day said that they did not want the flag in the Sept
they want to do
corridor.
that thing in the hallway, okay.
So they were happy with this location and also the one downstairs, in the original spot. So, I think this location would be the better display for the flag. The thermostat's easily removed. It can be, placed somewhere else very easily. It's only a 2-wire thermostat. You just bring it over here. And then just the painting of the council chambers. The only problem is the plexiglass or glass coming up in 2 sheets. And that was the only issue there.
These have resolved. How would they do that? We need two pieces of glass or?
It is not resolved because I did not get the final answer from Flag Day Association on the exact location. What I'm trying to do is nail them down
Yeah.
to say, hey, it's either downstairs or up here.
Well, I forgot about that part, but you're right, and actually bringing it up here, putting it, but I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure if they can bring it, well, we decided not on plexiglass.
Right, because it's more
So
expensive.
it'd have to be 2 pieces of glass,
Mm.
it would have to be vertical, there'd be a vertical seam. The question is whether that would be ceramic. So that may just.
Then I will reach out to Flag Day again with a phone call and an email. And I will carbon copy everyone. So,
Yeah, we need an answer on that.
yeah, I will have an answer by next week.
I think it can be done up here, but it's not that vertical seam of glass.
But how, I mean, they can do miracles now with different equipment.
We should have paid to do it.
That's true. You can do anything, just how much.
Exactly. Engineer, sure, we can engineer.
You can do whatever you want for a couple thousand.
In terms of the decision being made, I don't want to see the cost flag day association, but at some point, Borough Council has to make the decision. And then Borough Council is gonna make the decision. They may be making the decision based on whatever the flag day association says. But ultimately, the people in this room are accountable for the decision they make. And my experience with organizations is, you talk to individuals and they tell you their opinion, but it's sort of the opinion of the entire organization. And to get all the information out to all the membership organizations, so, worst comes to worst, I think, council has to make a decision.
The option for the flag is put it up here, or put it back where it originally was.
Well, I would say where it originally was, somewhere in that hallway. I think there were some other ideas on sort of what could be done with that hallway, to break it up into, maybe put some other,
The display items.
exhibits up or some other thing. In fact, I was, you know, I was telling you about the article, I saw an article in Art magazine about geezer art, and it was like, I thought the Arts Commission, well, maybe they could have a changing gallery down there to do things for people in the community, and put different artwork downstairs in that hallway, in one of those alcove areas. So, I haven't been at an Arts Commission meeting since I saw that article, I don't think we got up to something that involved community members and so on. But that could just as well go up here too, so, but I'd like to see the flag up here, I think it would make a great exhibit up here.
Yeah, I prefer
Mentors
it.
around it, but, last,
And,
I'm not sure why.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Charlie Moore.
Yeah.
And coming up the steps. See, I would think you could lift it from the bottom somehow up, over the railing.
I mean, because it's only 6 feet.
All I can tell you, get Pioneer glass out here and they're the ones.
If you want any part of it,
So
yeah.
they're the experts, I think you get to rely on.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So the reason, Mike and I think, and you prefer it up here?
I would prefer that.
Yeah, because downstairs, then we can have a rotation of display items, from the 2009, 1959. These are our,
Well, I just thought that it's so big, it needs a location.
yeah.
You can sit in that hallway, you can't get the perspective backwards to appreciate it.
And so, all right, I will call and
All right.
move on with that. And in painting, Craig just asked, how do we want to prioritize the painting to move forward? I mean, should we start here in council chambers, or do we start, why don't we start downstairs, because that's where most of the people come in.
Because, because we have two guys out on workers' comp, one guy out with a non-work rate entry.
Okay.
So.
Is this, I'll throw this out there, and I know the answer, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Is there any way that we can get volunteers to help without having a grievance? They didn't yell at you? So if I come here at night?
Last time they were paid was,
No.
they agreed to that.
Gentlemen, is that something that?
I
we
would
look
only
into?
say up here first, only because it would then give the Arts Commission some time to thrash out what they could do downstairs.
Okay,
Give
all right,
them a little time to get some time.
And that's granted that we have to find situation.
okay, I will try to get that situated as soon as possible.
And between this and the hallways, council chambers first, hallway second.
Out here in the hallway, is that what you're talking about, on the second floor? So the council
I'd say
be
yes,
first?
Give us a little more time with the Arts Commission downstairs too.
So basically, second floor would be priority, and then go from there. Council chambers, hallway, Dennis Goldie, and community room, and then the bathrooms.
See, even up here, I think the Arts Commission in here to see, we've been holding off on the plan for the 2009 and 1959 artifacts until we know where the flag is going. Then we'll know what spaces are left, then we can lay out all the other artifacts and decide where we're going to go. So the flag, too.
I will try to get a move on the flag. Mike.
See what their first choice is. Now, but again, if you can't get the glass up here, it's forced to be downstairs.
We can talk to Pioneer, we'll see.
What we do is have the split piece.
Or the slip case, if they would be.
I think the
able to do
split
that.
piece will still look fine. That's my personal opinion.
You may have to take some of the Pioneer to show them what it would look like in this kind of lighting and so on. They won't feel it.
I would sell them on this space though.
What?
Get in here, you're telling me the only way it may happen is to split things. Maybe try and see if they can come up with something flexible.
They have,
Takes it into a grander.
you mean the Flag Day?
Yeah.
They have 22, I think it's 22 or 27. I want to go with 22, $2,200 in their Flag Day account.
How many members are in the association?
1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6. Like that are, that attend?
Out of 10, that membership is.
Well, sometimes, yeah, what's membership? I mean, you give $10, you're good for life.
Okay.
You know?
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, no, but there's only that show up is usually, I show up, Ron Heckman, the Sajovitzes, and Mark, so 5 people.
And then they talked all about the association actually contributing any money towards this.
Well, that's what I was talking.
They were gonna take their money that is in their account for Ben Teltisco's bench, memorial bench. be placed at the triangle. And I think the amount was $1,800 that was proposed to them, to put the bench there with the plaque and with cement bolted down to it.
The sponsorship stack is what I'm saying.
Oh, I know that already. They asked me already to talk to Jeff.
And rightfully so. I mean, for contributing for, because all we're gonna say is, look, you guys took the flag down without telling us, and you guys got rid of the flags. I mean.
I know, that's, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
I mean, that's the.
But most of their money's gonna go to that bench. You know, majority of it, so. So the painting, however you can,
Yeah, talk to Jeff and give him that.
when can we, see if we get a start date?
I'll talk to him tomorrow morning and then,
And if there's any way that, you know, I don't wanna cause a ruckus or anything, but if we can get volunteers to do it, to show, I mean, just a council meeting, we had a thing, go the extra mile, letter sent to us about volunteerism. As you guys know, I'm big into that. I'm big into volunteerism, but the only reason I'm held back is because of grievances. I don't want McKenzie Mayor style lawsuits. You know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna push that issue. But if I can get volunteers, I will. I mean, anyway, that's just my personal idea. You know, let's see what Jeff has to say. See if Jeff can get on it before the leaf pickup starts. Because once leaf pickup starts, we're done.
if you can get volunteers, I mean, we get 6, 8 people, it's not easy. Do a like this?
I know.
Not this separate.
You got it. You do it, man.
I don't, oh, absolutely. Do a night, just 2 nights of painting. You know, if you came in at night, you know, somebody was, I mean, if I'm still, well, if we get it done between now and December 31st, you know, I could be responsible bringing people in, having that clean. I mean,
It could be done.
the only thing we would ask for the borough is the paint and the paint can and the supplies.
Have the guys prep, they'll probably take you in and stuff. We'll take those down.
I don't think they would have a problem with the workers. All right. Let's see, that's all I have for right now. Anything else you have?
Out in front of David's and.
Oh, the VFW, thank you, Mike, for totally reminding me. I talked to Craig yesterday.
You have the state contract numbers for the benches and the planters, and that's gonna be the bulk of it. And some prices on the,
What, yeah, because it was last Thursday I emailed Craig on the status of the VFW pack. When can we start ordering the benches and things? The one thing was, I know that we can order those, because we've been ordering those benches and planters and trash receptacles all the time. But the one thing that was a concern of mine was the flagpole and the flagpole base. How is that going to be engineered and handled?
we're not gonna have an engineer do it. We did for the, we did it over at, Moore Triangle, when we went up there. And we actually did get a triangle. I think we did get a triangle. It's like, it doesn't matter when engineering is just a whole triangle.
Okay, but weren't we gonna put a box around it, like a planer box?
Yeah, it's above ground.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was the only concern, like how's this gonna come about? That was it for me.
If you want something, if you want it detailed, they can write it with a diagram. Jeff, like,
No, we have the sketch. I think I mean, what I would like to see is a final sketch of where it's gonna be placed. If you can get that done. Because the other one, was a rough sketch, because we had to move the flag and plant and benches.
something to scale.
Yeah.
Right, one of the things I noticed when Nate and I, tree walk, we looked at that area, the concrete's pretty rough there. Is there anything that can be done there with any
Well,
monies that were available, just to make that nicer?
incorporate a certain amount into the design, that can be included, but you can't go far beyond the design.
I see.
You know, you might be able to go a couple of feet saying, well, you know, look, we had to jack all this out in order to put this base in, and put the flagpole. But if you're gonna be going 8 feet on either side, then clearly, once you get beyond a couple of feet, you're just doing it for aesthetic
Yeah.
purposes.
That's a shame, 'cause it just is a rough.
Yeah, it's rough situation.
rough
But we know what,
patches.
the whole reason we didn't go for it was
Yeah, yeah, I know.
VFW's
Yeah.
beer cellar and is the sidewalk and cost of that.
I just know if there's any way to epoxy something over that, or sort of patch, I don't know.
And could Public Works do the concrete work and not have, somebody,
We don't do concrete.
we do,
We'll pour like the foundation was like small. In terms of sidewalk concrete, that's what we have.
okay.
Contract we use for that.
So we will have that, to have everything ordered, how long does it take?
Deliveries in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay,
Similar to what happened with Ray, so.
okay, so 3 to 4 weeks, we're looking then at the end of October. So by the end of October, we should have this project, almost,
Underway in terms of having received everything.
but we can also be working on the flagpole and the flagpole base and things of that nature in the meantime, while waiting. I don't wanna, what I'm trying to say is, Greg, I don't wanna wait for the parts to come in,
Right.
while we can still be doing some other things. I want this project to get finished, and if we can finish it by October 31st, I'll be,
You know, it would be nice, what's the date for the parade?
15th, Saturday. Well, we can't get the part, we couldn't get the, items. No, I agree, absolutely. Do we have to talk to Carlton?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you please follow up with him? All right. And I might stop in and just say hi or something like that as well. Anything else, Mike, that you had on your agenda? Thanks for, I totally forgot that on my agenda. Art? You got anything?
I don't have anything. I think, I don't know if you guys can comment on that. I don't, one question of finance, I think, is Brian told me about it, but, I'll leave ribbons, Manny, or,
Reviews upset about Main
Okay,
Street.
so,
about the beer thing, so.
So Mike, are you gonna handle that then?
no.
CRD liaison to Main Street?
Handle the situation, we gotta get,
I talked to Terry about it.
chat with.
Yeah, do they, did you hear any follow-up?
No.
Okay.
Last I heard, they were gonna go talk to the principal then and see if they could work it out. I haven't heard anything since then, so. we'll see.
All right, so, there's nothing else, here, we're just gonna, September 28th, Budget and Finance, we're gonna put a request for that in, and,
And I will not be at that meeting, out of town.
Okay.
Just so you know.
all right, nothing else? All right, motion to adjourn?